Hi, my name's Alan Edwards, and in this development blog video I'm going to show you how to create your own post-processing material that you can use with both sequences and with post-processing volumes, so that it will interpolate in the sequence or in the post-processing volume between kind of the parameters to your post-processing material. So for instance here I've got a blinking material that I've created, and if I go into this post-processing volume, you can see it fully blinks, and if I move out, the eye opens again. Now obviously this is a bit of a silly example because this isn't a very realistic effect that you'd want to have in your game, a blink that kind of enables itself, or makes the eye blink when you walk into a volume. However, you can use this for any kind of post-processing material. This is just kind of an example. So first I'm going to show my material setup. So I've got this material here called blink, and it's using the radial gradient and doing a little bit of maths on that to make it kind of stretch over the screen. But most importantly, it's got this alpha parameter. So this is just a normal scalar parameter. And I found that if you actually use this master material in the post-processing volume or level sequence, it doesn't work very well. What you have to do is you have to create an instance of it, and then you've got to change the value from its default. So if you change the value from its default, Unreal knows that, oh, you want to animate this value, you want to interpolate this value in a post-processing volume or a sequence. So I'll just give you a demo of what this actually does here. So when it's above 5, it starts to open, and 1 is fully open. I think I need to improve this material so that's not how it works, so it spans the range from 0 to 1, but this is just, like I said, an example. So let's reduce that to 0. So like I said, it's not set at the default anymore, so we can animate it. And all I've done is I've applied it to this post-processing volume, and it started to animate the actual parameter here. And obviously, when you're inside the post-processing volume, you can use this this value here to also interpolate the parameters on it. So that's with a post-processing volume. What I'm going to show you now is a more practical example, and actually the reason I did this whole setup was for a level sequence. So what I've done here is I've applied the blink full to the camera, and you can see that at the minute, the preview of the camera, it's completely black. So I'm actually just going to lock the viewport to that, so you can see completely black. And also we can, again, reduce or increase it with that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a property here, post-processing material volume. So I go to camera component, post-process settings, and then post-process materials, and then just select that. So what that does is it exposes the weight of this post-processing material to my level sequence. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a keyframe here, and then at 1 second I'm going to add a keyframe of 0. So when I play my sequence here, you can see that it looks like an eye is opening. So what I can do here is I can add fully closed again. In fact, no, actually I want open there, and possibly fully closed around 3 seconds, and then let's say open again around 4. So what I'm doing here is I'm just building up a level sequence where it looks like the player's eye is opening and closing, which is kind of an interesting effect. And like I said, you can use this for pretty much any kind of post-processing material. So here I've got a little bit of a swirl effect on the screen. Let's see what this looks like. Yeah, so here you go. So that's the swirl effect fully enabled. I'll just show you the preview here because it's a little bit easier to see. So you can see that the center of the screen is kind of pulling round, and then it'll pull itself back again. So this is kind of if you're having hallucinations as the character, or you just want to make it kind of seem a bit surreal. This is that kind of effect. But if I go and play my sequence now, you can see that it starts applying it, and then it unapplies it. Essentially, it adjusts the weight of the effect, and when the weight is 0, it's fully off, and when it's 1, it's fully on. So that's another kind of use for this, but again, this is more useful to kind of have set to the blink. And actually, the thing that I showed you before, the post-processing volume, if I set this to the the screen swirl. There you go, screen swirl full. So now if I step into that volume, although I can't actually see it in game, so that doesn't help, does it? Where are my rendering options? I think I've missed them. Hang on, let's just search. Visible. Oh, maybe you can't. Oh, I thought you could have this visible in game. Maybe you can't. Okay, so I'll just start my character in here. Yeah, current camera location. Let's just click start. You can see things are going a little bit trippy, but if I step out of it, they're back to normal. So you can see it's using the post-processing volume to transition between a custom post-processing material. So hopefully you found that interesting. If you want to know anything else or you have any other ideas for videos, please let me know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching.